In a world where Wheat and I took his medication and became a half-competent mod developer.
I added a bunch of dimensions to Minecraft. But yeah, welcome back to Alternate Craft. It's a new mod that I'm working on. The last video I posted on this channel was actually on this mod, so go watch that. Though you don't have to understand everything in this video. But yeah, Alternate Craft is a mod that I've been working on the last couple weeks. Essentially, when you spawn into a new world, you start in this teleporter area. And then you may notice if you walk around for a while, there's some doors. But yeah, every single one of those portals leads to its own dimension. And then once you pick that dimension, you're locked into it and you gotta progress there. Once you progress in that dimension, you can teleport to the other ones and just conquer them all. But yeah, last video we explored the glass dimension and everything it has to offer, which I'm now gonna start calling that dimension Vitrum. That's the name I picked for it. It's just glass in Latin. Yeah, very classy, I know. But yeah, in this video we're gonna go through the other 5 dimensions that I've added since that video. Also worth noting, once I finish this mod, I'm gonna do a public server experiment on it, so stay tuned for that. Public server, anyone can join. It's gonna be running this mod, and if you want to be in a video, well, that's a good chance. But yeah, which dimension should I do? We'll start with the teal one. Now, essentially, the dimension is my take on like a skyblock type dimension. It's kind of like skyblock, but you can actually explore. Because instead of the world being a single island, it's made out of a bunch of grass bridges with trees on them. Worth noting, if you fall out of this dimension, you get teleported into Vitrum. So if you want to get to Vitrum, you can from bridges pretty easily. Although if you die, you'll teleport back here. But yeah, let's talk about how we can actually progress here, because you may notice there's some interesting blocks around. Now, in bridges, your journey will start like most Minecraft worlds. You gotta go find a tree and punch the tree with your hands. Now at this point we can explore around, and there's 2 things we want to be on the lookout for. There's loot chests that can spawn, and also water, because you may notice under the bridges a bunch of ice and lava is spawning. Oops. So you want to get over to one of these waters. You can land on the ice, and then we can try our best to make some sort of cobblestone generator with this. There we go. We did get stone. Probably gonna add more stuff in the future to make this a little less but for now, this is how you progress in bridges. Worth noting, the first official download of this mod is up, and you can play it on CurseForge. I have a link in the description and in the pinned comment. You can play this mod, play test it, and give me feedback in my Discord server. But yeah, now that I have sword and such, I can start exploring around again. Now you may notice this dimension doesn't really have an actual stone or earth we can mine in. It should mean ores are impossible to get here, right? Well, don't worry, you can actually get ores here in a system that I think is kind of unique, actually. You may notice around this dimension there are these portals that are locked in cages. Well, this is the key to getting ores in this dimension. We just have to find a way to open that lock, which you can do if you find these loot chests that are scattered around the dimension. If I open it, you can see I got lucky. There's an onyx key in here, and onyx keys are what we use to open the portals. And also there's other resources in here, like carrots, potatoes, coal, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, at this point we gotta find a portal, and then we can just right click and we open the portal. And now at this point we might want to build around the thing to keep it secure, because these portals are going to summon something. You can see it just did it. These are the ore flies. Black ones are coal, these yellow ones are gold, those white ones are quartz, those tan ones are iron, orange ones copper. You get the gist. These are literally flying ores. Now they are hostile mobs. They're actually pretty tanky, so you gotta be careful around them, and they get pretty numerous. They do damage. You can see, if I kill that copper guy, I got some copper. I'm gonna add mod support too, so ores like osmium and tin can get their own fly variants. We are in Tartarus, the underground desert. But yeah, this is one of my favorite dimensions actually in terms of theme. It's a giant, expansive underground desert, kind of like the Nether if it was hospitable. You can see the world is littered with cactuses and poison, which is a new liquid. If I sit in it, you can see I get poisoned. That's all it does. Thankfully though, there are trees here, so I can get started and progress and stuff. I'm gonna be honest, behind all the sand, this dimension is kind of basic so far. I haven't added too much exclusive content to it, so if you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments, and I will add your idea if I like it. Although there is a new enemy here that's worth mentioning. I'm gonna add more enemies here in the future, but this is what I have so far. These are the raggies, which are extremely fast and they do a lot of damage, so be careful around these guys. They also spawn very often. But yeah, these guys are kind of like zombies, except they're tankier, faster, and do more damage. But then there's one other thing that's worth noting about the raggies. Is if you kill one, they don't die immediately. Notice how when I kill them, they crumple into a pile of toilet paper on the floor? And then I have to actually kill the pile to get their stuff, which they drop bones and paper. Well, that's the thing about raggies. If they're in their crumpled form and another raggy happens to walk by them, or say you're fighting a bunch of them in a group, they will revive. They killed me. Alright, time to enter the next dimension, the green portal. But yeah, this dimension is the Dark Forest, which you may notice is very dark. Well, yeah, that's the thing with this dimension. It's pretty dangerous, hard to survive in. This one's meant to be more of a unique challenge dimension, kinda. If you stay in darkness for too long, this message pops up. And essentially what that means is if you're in pitch black darkness for too long, you die. So I'm gonna have to get near some light as fast as possible, which thankfully it's kind of easy to do that in this dimension. And actually just in general, because of a new item I added. You're gonna want to find some dead bushes and break them. And then with 2 sticks, you can make a fire plow. And now with a fire plow, you can just hold down on any block. It kind of works like a flint and steel, except it's really slow. You can see? Now we got a fire. And now I'm safe from the Gru here. I won't die. Now I can actually start progressing. You can see there's wood here. Now let me actually talk about some of the attributes in this dimension. It's a super flat world, so it's perfectly flat, and it only goes down 3 blocks before bedrock. Also worth noting, the dimension is very short. You can see I cannot get up this block. Ignore all the drops that are on the ground. That's from a glitch that I haven't fixed yet. But yeah, this dimension is not very tall. Another thing worth mentioning about this dimension is there's no coal. And that's bad because you need coal to make torches, right? Well, don't worry, there is an alternative. The whole point of this dimension is light is hard to come by, but you kind of need it to live because it's a challenge dimension. We don't really have to worry. We can already get fire with the fire plows, but eventually that goes out, which is very troublesome. Don't worry, there is a way to not struggle. We need to find some zombies. We have to kill it and take the rotten flesh you get. And with 4 rotten flesh, we can get the cursed block. If I light it, this fire will never go out. It's pretty much like craftable netherrack, and a very convoluted way to get a torch. Now this dimension has a new exclusive enemy, one that you might have trouble seeing, not because of the darkness, but just in general. Ah, there it is! The ghost. Now these enemies are invisible until they get close to the player, which means you're not really gonna know where one is until it jump scares you. Quite a bit of damage too, but don't worry, you can kill them pretty easily. And they drop redstone and iron. These are very obviously heavily inspired by the ghost mod that I featured in the first season of my old mods let's play. So yeah, this is almost like a homage to it because I love that mod. Now this dimension is inspired by the throbbing domain from Eugenics, as well as obviously taking a bunch of elements from Wheat Death of the Universe and factoring it in here. It's a little bit of inspiration from Small Aquatics Meat Mod as well. But yeah, how do we progress here? Well, first of all, you may notice the entire dimension is made out of meat blocks. And if you break these, you get mystery meat. Oh yeah, it's the mystery meat from Wheat Death of the Universe. Except I revamped the texture. I love the texture work I did on this. And it's craftable in the same ways as it is in Wheat Death of the Universe. You can make it out of all 4 meats or out of dying rotten flesh. It works a little bit differently in alternate craft than it does in Wheat Death. If I eat it, I don't get all the bad effects right away. It kind of gives me a random assortment of bad effects. Like that time, it gave me nausea and hunger. I eat it again. Give me poison that time. Eat it again. Something else. Oh, some overlap there. So yeah, I really don't advise eating this stuff. Very bad for you. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but netherrack spawns in this dimension. And you can actually craft netherrack out of smelting the cursed blocks. And I'm also going to make it where you get it from smelting the meat blocks, but I forgot to add that. But yeah, progression. We have to break meat blocks to get some mystery meat, of course. And then we have to look for tooth ore, which looks like this, and we can just break it. And there are 2 different types of teeth we can get. I got them both. There's the canine and the molar. And these 2 teeth items are used for tools. Now, workbenches are a lot harder to get in this dimension, so we're gonna have to make all our tools in the regular crafting grid. You can see with a canine, a molar, and a mystery meat, this is the meat pickaxe. If I do just a canine like this, it's the shovel. Pretty sure 2 molars would be the axe, and then it's like a canine, and then 2 meat like this for the hoe. So yeah, I'm actually gonna make the shovel because you don't really need a pickaxe in this dimension, because pretty much all the blocks need to be broken with a shovel. Also worth noting, the cursed blocks you can find in this dimension as well. Now you may notice this dimension is very dark. How do we get torches? Well, we can't get regular torches. We're gonna have to do some weird crap, of course. We are gonna have to find fat blocks, which look like this. Directly inspired by the fat blocks from Wheat Death of the Universe. Break them, and you get fat. And then with mystery meat and fat, we get a meat torch, which is different from regular torches in the sense that it cannot be placed on walls, but it actually does give more light overall. So that's kind of cool. Now we have light. We can see what these fat blocks look like in all their glory. Now let me talk about some of the hazards in this dimension. These are veins, inspired by the ones from Wheat Death. You step on a vein, you get injected with hepatitis B. And hepatitis B is a pretty bad effect. It's supposed to lower a bunch of my attributes, but it's not doing it for some reason. I might need to fix it. But also, this cannot be removed with milk, so keep that in mind. But yeah, the actual enemies. Let's talk about the meat slime. Now, the meat slime already does a lot of damage on its own. I'm already about to die. But you know the regular slimes in Minecraft? How like when you kill a slime, it breaks into 2 smaller ones that are weaker? When these meat slimes are killed, They split into 2 bigger ones with more health and damage and speed. But oh yeah, they also split into even bigger ones. This dimension is full of sewage as like the main liquid, and if you stand in it, you get poison and nausea. Another thing worth mentioning about the sewage is if you hold glass bottles and walk into it, they turn into jenkum. That's how you fill it up. Eventually, I'll make it so you fill it up with regular bottles, but I haven't figured that out yet still. Let's talk about the last exclusive resource in this dimension. This stuff kind of looks like fat, but it's pinker. It's really tough to break. This is gristle. And gristle is kind of one of the higher tier resources of this dimension. It's going to be used for more tools, but I haven't added those new tools yet. But yeah, with 3 gristle, 2 molars, and 3 mystery meat, you get the pink eye. Yeah, remember the pink eye bow from Wheat Death of the Universe? Yeah, I brought it back, and this is its new form with a new texture. But yeah, the pink eye bow works the same as it does in Wheat Death of the Universe. Pink eye bow is like a bow, but it uses hunger instead of arrows to shoot your projectiles. You can see I shoot, and I lose hunger. Now I'm starving to death. Good thing it's easy to get ammo in this dimension. The whole place is edible. But yeah, let's talk about the last thing I added for this dimension so far. With mystery meat, 2 gristle, 2 veins, and a gem of eternal healing, which I forgot to mention, but you can get this item from the mummies in the Tartarus dimension. But yeah, all these items together, you get the siphon staff. Oh yeah, the siphon staff. Oh yeah, the siphon staff from Wheat Death of the Universe. You already know I had to bring this one back too, because it's such a cool item in my opinion. But essentially, it's a lifesteal weapon. I have to hit enemies with it, and you can see these little particles pop up. And once I hit them a bunch of times, right-click and it heals me. That was very clutch. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions you want in this mod, please let me know in the comments. I have big plans for this mod. I want to add a lot more to it, obviously. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, play industrial basis, subscribe to my second channel, visit my website, and goodbye.